Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Here's the deal. We have an Ant-Man buff to talk about, and I know the fear, I don't expect this to change any of that until it's released, but the fear was that Ant-Man would be somebody that would be somehow nerfed to the point that it would make him worse, or at least take away some of his best utility. I doubt, highly doubt, they could actually change the ghost synergy. That would be a criminal uproar. So we're not even going to debate that by giving that topic any more time on the channel. So we have Ant-Man and survivability. I always thought Ant-Man's original had a pretty high survivability because of the glancing. Damage, pretty high. Ease of use, 4 out of 5 in utility. And defender strength, 3 out of 5 and 2.5 out of 5. Ant-Man's mechanics. Scotty is back from his nighttime errands with some hot new tech. Stealing a page out of the other arthropods of the contest. Ant-Man's kit now focuses on the buildup of PIM particles to inflict prickly power stings on the opponent. Gathering these will require you to shrink down to size, often throwing special ones until your desired stack of PIM particles is achieved. As an added bonus, Ant-Man's puny punches will inflict debilitating fatigues. When ready, hit the power-hungry opponent with a heavy attack to convert the resource into power stings. Keep their timers up by performing attacks or punishing heavy attacks long enough to build 2 bars of power. Then sock them with a special 2, converting the fatigues into pernicious poison debuffs. Continue refreshing until a toxic buildup or a hasty special attack brings your opponent down to your level. Character class science. Basic abilities: power sting, fatigue, poison, and petrify. Strengths and weaknesses. Strengths: power gain, counter effects, punishes opponent power gain with power stings, or negates it altogether with petrify. Unsteady. Unsteady debuffs keep Ant-Man tanky despite his small stature. They're also good at countering slippery champions with falter and phase. Weaknesses: power control. Ant-Man's arsenal and tankiness is reliant on ample use of special attacks. Power control champs and nodes will quickly shut him down. Purified champions with access to Purify will shrug off Ant-Man's debuff heavy abilities with ease. We've got the stats. Ant-Man is immune to poison and shock effects. That's fascinating. Ant-Man is immune to buffs whenever he would. For PIM particles max 9, he instead generates 1 PIM particle. Whenever Ant-Man's basic attacks intercept the opponent or strikes them when recovering from a heavy, he consumes 1 PIM particle to refresh any personal fatigue, poison, and power sting debuffs on the opponent. Important note, there is a bug with Ant-Man's new description, and it will be changed to reflect the description here in his spotlight. I don't remember them ever saying there's a bug in a champion spotlight. That's fascinating. I wonder if that was a late addition and a fear. You'd think they would have already taken care of that before they released this. These are key to your damage. Get a nice stack of them ready. Convert some into power stings and or poisons. Then use the rest to keep the debuffs active with intercepts and by punishing opponents' heavy attacks. Power stings. If Ant-Man has 3 or more PIM particles, landing a heavy attack or being knocked down by a special attack consumes 3 PIM particles to inflict 1 power sting debuff on the opponent lasting 9 seconds. An opponent with power sting takes 2,369 direct damage if they activate a special attack. Doesn't seem like a lot. Whenever Ant-Man's personal power stings detonate, they also deal a burst of 355.35 physical damage for each debuff on the opponent, including the power sting. So interesting that firing specials will give you some damage. Make sure opponent has a healthy dose of debuffs on them before triggering power sting for maximum pain. This also means, since he's shock immune, that Black Widow Deadly Origin is no longer like a guaranteed reliable counter. Special attacks. Whenever Ant-Man activates special attack, the opponent is inflicted with a non-stacking unsteady debuff lasting 15 seconds, giving their attacks a 100% chance to glance. Oh, wow. So you have a 100% chance to glance your attacks for 15 seconds. Unsteady cannot be activated if the opponent is already under the effect of an unsteady debuff, so you can't stack it. When Unsteady expires, this ability goes into a 15-second cooldown. Unsteady is one of Ant-Man's greatest strengths, but watch out. Its cooldown exposes Ant-Man's squishy nature. Keep that in mind while spamming special ones to rack up PIM particles. If you spam special ones, that is also usually not suicide friendly, just saying. One of the effective personal unsteady debuffs, Ant-Man cannot miss his opponent. Phase and falter can be annoying, and Ant-Man thinks so too. Not only is the unsteady debuff Ant-Man's greatest defensive mechanism, it can be a potent counter-offensive tool that makes me think of fighting somebody like our friend Ebony Coleslaw. Special 1 Pim Punch. On activation, gain 3 Pim Particles. If Ant-Man has 9 Pim Particles, his special attack is unblockable. Each hit inflicts a fatigue debuff, lowering your opponent's crit rating. You'll be throwing a lot of these. Ant-Man's Special 1 is his primary Pim Particle producer and the most immediate access to Unsteady. Special 2, Ant Swarm. Each Pim Particle grants Ant-Man plus 592.25 attack rating for duration of this attack. On the second hit, consume all fatigue debuffs on the opponent. For each fatigue consumed, the opponent is inflicted with a poison debuff. Deals 1,776.75 damage. Stacking fatigues with Special 1 and keeping them up with intercepts will grant you a rewarding Special 2. Special 3, Ant-Size Knockout. Inflict a petrified debuff, reducing the potency of power gain regeneration effects by 10% for 20 seconds. Sometimes I read these and I think the Special 3 sounds like the most of a letdown. And that is in itself a letdown, ironically. Thrower notes, signature ability close-up magic. Whenever Ant-Man glances an attack, he has 50% chance to inflict a fatigue debuff, lowering the opponent's crit rating by 2,139. Whenever Ant-Man gains a Pim Particle, he pauses the duration of any personal fatigue, poison, or power, seeming debuffs the opponent for 4 seconds. Keeping your debuffs up becomes far easier with Ant-Man's signature ability. Synergy bonuses. Hi, I'm Scott. Ant-Man, each hit of a Special 1 has a 100% chance to inflict the opponent with a fragility debuff, reducing block proficiency by 50%. Friends with Hulk, Nemesis, Yellow Jacket, teammates Iron Man, teammates Spider-Man. Recommended Masteries, Liquid Courage. Poison immunity plus Liquid Courage gives Ant-Man worry-free access to extra damage. That makes sense to me until you start spamming Special 1s and you take that recoil damage. Petrified Mastery further complements Ant-Man's passive power gain and regeneration counters, and Despair gives your numerous debuffs some added heal blocking oomph. Ant-Man looks interesting. I think the glancing is going to be very annoying, and he's got some utility that makes him better against champions that probably melted him before, like Black Widow, Deadly Origin. But we'll wait and see. I'm curious, for those of you watching this, and I appreciate that you clicked on the video, are you excited? There are so many buffs where it looks kind of interesting, but unless you're using Ant-Man already with like Ghost Synergy, with Wasp, will you really use him on his own? Or do you think this is going to be one of those things where you just maybe don't think that he's going to be that useful overall? Or maybe you think he's going to be beyond God tier. I don't know. Either way, thank you for the feedback. I enjoy reading it, and I also enjoy ending videos before they get to 10 minutes. So let's end this one here.